we are with Miss Trina's daughter's 2015 Chevy Cruze 1.4 liter. We've done a series of videos on this. We did the spark plugs. I'm still waiting on my coil pack to come back. We're doing the air filter, so I have that housing removed. I'm going to do the oil feed line, which I've already made a video on previously, so all those videos will be linked below. In this video, we will be tackling the Serpentine belt, and it is ridiculous on this car. So we're just going to dive right into it, and I will put a link to a replacement belt up here in the video, and it will be in the description below if you want to save some money and order on Amazon. It also helps us out. But yeah, this puppy's got tons of wear on the side. You can see where it's like marking right there. Her daughter's getting ready to go to college, so we're just kind of doing maintenance items here. We got to pull the motor mount to change this belt. Like, you are shitting me. But first, let's get the tensioner in position because it's kind of a complicated setup as well. So we're going to get it up in the air, and we're going to pull the front passenger tire, and then we're going to get behind there to look at it. All right, here we are. Passenger tire is off. So what you need to do is we need to get in here and take this wheel liner off. This is not the best example because this thing is pretty banged up, but you'll just go around. So we got push pin there. That one's pulled out. We got a push pin there. The ones up top are missing. We got a push pin there. So we're just gonna take all these push pins and get this wheel liner out of here because we need to get up behind it to look at the belt tensioner. All right, so I'm not gonna pull my entire wheel liner because I can go up high enough. This part is loose, so I can fold it out of the way. These push pins are really not factory and brittle, so they like to break. I don't think I have enough replacements to replace all of them, so I have the access I need, but you can take it all the way out if you want. But here we go. This fancy contraption here is the tensioner for this car. So this is the first step where it gets absolutely ridiculous. So if you see up here, this little hole, which I'll circle on the screen, you need to line up with the hole behind it and stick a pin in there when we rotate this E14 bolt, which if you don't have E14 sockets, you can find a 6-point metric socket that will fit it. I don't know what the E14 is off the top of my head. I think it might be like a 13 or a 12, but yeah. So what I have over here is I have this little punch tool that will fit all the way through, and I have my big ratchet. I don't know if I can get a good view of this while I do it, but let me try. So this needs to slide on there. There we go. Out of that. Oh. So we need to put this on Titan mode, I guess. Yep. Okay. So you'll see how it can move and line up. There we go. That takes the tension off the belt. There we go. So I just overflexed it by hand because the pin out wasn't even enough to get the slack out of the belt. And there we go. We're moving and grooving now, boys. Ah. So I stuck the pin in on the way back, but I had to ratchet it, over ratchet it to get the belt off of everything. So it's pinned right now, but whenever I go to put the new belt on, I'll get everything in position, and I'll hold it by the alternator there where I pulled it off. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but I'll explain it whenever we do it. And then I'll over ratchet it to get it on and then pull the pin back out. That's my plan now. But time to come down and let's get a jack under it with a block of wood because we got to take the motor mount off. We got our jack and our block of wood. So we're going to go up under here, put our jack or our block of wood on the jack, and then we're going to jack up on the bottom side of the oil pan right there. You don't want to put a ton of pressure on it. You just want to put a slight amount of tension on it. This is what we're going to do. All right, there we go. Nice little tension right there to hold the motor up. What we're going to do is we're going to unbolt the motor mount here. These 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, they look like about a 15 millimeter. Then we're actually going to try and lower it down. I'm hoping we can just slide the belt in between this part of the mount and this part of the mount. 15 millimeter was indeed correct. So we're going to zip out these 2. I'm just going to set them right up here on the cowl. Now we're gonna go a little slower with that one, although it just kind of popped right out of there. Okay, let's see how much wiggle room we can get by lowering this thing. The answer is enough. So you saw that. I got this finger width crack here, but that's all we need. We just need to pass this belt through like that. Voila! Yay! Get out of there. You can honestly cut this belt out if you want, but I like to use it as like a practice so I have an idea of how the new one's gonna go in. Well, there we go. This puppy's out of there. Oh, look how dry rotted and cracked it is. These are worn down. Dry rotting's not even the best way to tell if a belt's bad anymore. Apparently they have like belt gauges you can put in the notches and wiggle back and forth because the rubber is more like tires and it wears down. I just learned that recently. Never heard of that before in my life until like last week, but I don't know how much validity there is to that, but I do want to check into that because that always helps to learn. Here we go with the new belt though. This belt is a K050551 from Gates. So the real key here is just fishing it down here, fishing it here, voila. So we're around that motor mount. Now I'm just gonna kind of gently put it into place. But I got everything I need pretty much done right there. So now we're gonna jack the motor back up and reinstall our motor mount. So it moved forward slightly. I'm gonna need two hands here. You can just push on the motor to get it lined back up and started. Just like this here. You don't want a bunch of tension on the bolts when you run them in. We're gonna hit this with the impact. Now I'm gonna look up the torque spec and we're going to torque it before we take the jack out. Yay for GM. These engine mounting bolts are torque to yield. That means I gotta replace them. I am going to order these and pick them up tomorrow. So I'm gonna reuse these to hold the engine for now. So we'll finish getting the belt in, but I will do the torquing tomorrow. All right, real quick, I'm sitting here making this video and I realized I did not explain the torquing procedure very well. So I'm gonna cut this in here. The torque spec on the bolts is 50 Newton meters on the first pass. So you make sure you torque all three of the bolts to 50 Newton meters. Then you come back and you add 60 to 75 degrees to each one. And that is the torquing to yield part of the procedure. All right, here we go, home stretch. Well, home stretch until I replace those bolts tomorrow. Flip our little panel back. So we're gonna make sure we have plenty of slack to fish the backside of the belt up here over this tensioner, which has got like some worn out rubber on it. We're gonna clean that off. Let's spin it. It's not loud or anything, so we're gonna fish our belt up into that location, and then we'll put it over these and ratchet this tensioner to get the slack to go over the alternator. This is gonna take me all my hands though, but essentially we want to fish the backside of the belt up around that tensioner like that and wrap it around. Well, hell, here it is. That wasn't too bad. You have to lay the belt down and kind of push it flat to get it up under that section of the motor mount, but you can definitely flip it up under there. And then I just put the ratchet on. So I had to reach up from the bottom all the way up to the top side of the engine to fish the belt onto the upper pulley, which is above this mount I'm pointing to right here. So I reached all the way up there to get it on top of that pulley, which it is not even grooved in all the way. Yes, it is. It's perfect. Okay, it's perfect. So yeah, I reached up there and did that, got it all in position, and then used my ratchet on there to flip it over the alternator right here. And now we're good to go. So at this point, hopefully you've got replacement bolts, which I will also have linked in the description from Amazon or wherever I can find them. You just button up your wheel liner, get your tire back on, put your breather box back on your air filter, and you are home free with your new belt. Woo! So if the video helped you out, hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully it helps somebody. and subscribe if you want to see more. We got repair videos and some custom stuff coming, so come on.